Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Slay to Success talk show. It is your girl, your queen, Rochelle Hemingway, and I am your host for tonight. As you all know, I am the CEO and founder of Slay to Success. I am a speaker and author of the book titled Slay to Success and a 30-year United States Air Force veteran. So, Slate to Success is a leadership and transformational consulting business, and it is designed to help mid to senior level professional women who have recently arrived in a position of leadership, who are on the precipice of leadership, or who are facing an infliction or an inflection point in their careers or in their lives. And I offer keynote speaking services, different development workshops for businesses, organizations, schools, and companies. I have courses for aspiring and established women who are working in leadership roles, consultations, one-on-ones. I also have a all women's exclusive Facebook membership group for support, encouragement, and community. And I also offer women empowerment luncheons, meetups, and events. And so our next meetup from all my women out here who are in the DMV area, and you could be living outside the DMV area too. Okay, it's going to be on the 20th of October from 6 to 8 p.m. And so I'm going to pull this up. If you want to know all the happenings of Slay to Success, go ahead and grab your phone and go ahead and click on the QR code and scan it. Okay, because this has all the things. You want weekly emails? I send those out. You want to know when these events are happening? I send those out. You want some free tips on how you can get better in your leadership or your wellness or your mindset journey? It is all there for you. So go ahead and scan the QR code. Now, the purpose of this talk show, y'all, is to highlight men and women who are actually living a service on their own terms and using the slave philosophies to positively impact the world. And so y'all know what slay means, right? Slay means to kill it, to dominate it, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream and work hard until you own it. Slay is also an acronym. Okay. And these are universal philosophies that all of us can use in our everyday walks of life. Stay ready to be ready. Lead out loud. A sense of community, a sense of family, and knowing you are built to last. So that is the Slay. And we got a special treat. We're going to have a SLAYmazing conversation with our guest tonight. So let me make sure that I am speaking to this intelligently. Okay. Because I don't want to miss out on anything. This is my Air Force brother, Dr. X. He is in the building tonight. So Dr. X, he is an Air Force Academy graduate and he retired as a lieutenant colonel. And his doctorates, if you will, doctorate with Dr. X, right? His distinguished career spanned over 2 decades. And when he retired, he founded the Western Maryland chapter of the National Association for Black Veterans and served as the vice commander of the National Association of Minority Veterans. Dr. X is a CEO of Uplift Financial Consultant. His monthly education awareness workshops are uniquely designed to build financial resilience among Black veterans, service members, and their family members. And for the past 3 years, Dr. X has hosted a monthly social enrichment event named First Friday Networking. And I was just there, y'all. So if you are a veteran, a Black veteran at that, if you want to meet other veterans, okay, because I know we all do, all right, then you need to be on his website, okay, and looking at all the things that he is doing. And this is a place where we can rebuild camaraderie in the Black military community. Now, Dr. X is an established, nationally recognized facilitator and has shared his expertise with Fortune 500 companies, including Northrop Grumman, Caterpillar, Boston Scientific, Toyota, Energy, and Raytheon. And additionally, his insights have been featured in publications like Military Times, ABC, NBCLX, the Baltimore Sun, MPT, and CBS Audio Eye on Veterans. Now, okay, so buckle up, y'all. Okay, go grab your tea or your beverage of choice or whatever you got going on. Let me make sure that I am shouting out to my people here. Okay, Tina, thank you for joining us. All my audience members here from Facebook. I got Richmond, who I was stationed with when I was in Japan many years ago, my brother. And then I got Thelma here, who is probably tuning in all the way from Nigeria or Liberia. I can't remember which one, Thelma, but let us know where you are tuning and streaming in from. So thank you all for being here tonight. Please put your hands together for Dr. X.
In the flesh, real name, no gimmicks.
What's going on? What's going on with you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good, sister. Hey, hanging in there. Hey, living the dream, having a great Air Force day.
Great Air Force Day still. Look at you.
Yeah.
You still like got that
Yep.
in your blood.
Yes, indeed.
So tell the audience, like, who are you? What you be doing? How you get to this point?
Great question. Sometimes I don't even know how I got to this point. And I'd
Mhm.
have to sit back and look and really think about how I've gotten to a place in which I'm living the dream. It all started in Arkansas. So a lot of people, you don't hear a lot of people coming from
Nope.
that area of the country. It's kind of
Yep.
like, oh, I didn't know any brothers within Arkansas or Iowa or Idaho. Well, yeah. So I'm from the deep south, the southern corner of Arkansas. And so that area is called the Delta. So not many of us go to the Air Force Academy. So when I
Mm.
went there, I was kind of like one of one from that area. And I tell you what, it was a struggle getting into the academy. It was a struggle getting through the academy.
I
Long story short, and I write it in my book, my story about the struggle I went through in the Air Force Academy. Graduated, spent the next 24 years as first a communications officer, and then I retrained into healthcare administration. Then after 24 years in the Air Force, decided, you know what, it's time for me to hang up the hat, take off the boots, and really focus on Black veteran service members and their family members. So I built Uplift. My tagline is Uplift Your Damn Self. And now we're really focused on how do we build financial resilience in this community.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so your tagline, I'm for it. I'm all day, every day. Okay, because if you can't lift your damn self up, all right, and I know that, I probably got family members like, oh my gosh, she's saying it, but that's what it is, right? I mean, it's really just being point blank about the matter because sometimes as veterans, we feel like there's a sense of entitlement or we are owed more, right? And then we
Mhm.
don't know where to go from that. So you talked about some struggles during your academy, time. What kind of struggles? Like, give me a couple of struggles that you had.
Yeah, first academically. So
Mm,
when you're coming from the space that I came from, the schooling isn't the strongest. It's time for us to be open as people, and I have to admit that in that area of the country, sometimes academic isn't robust.
right.
So, but I made good grades for that area. So I graduated number two in my class, and my GPA was strong enough to get into the Air Force Academy prep school. Like my
Mm,
grades weren't even high enough to get straight into the academy. I had to go to the preparatory school first to get my standardized test scores up and to be able to go to the Air Force Academy. But once I got there, and I tried to, and this is what Black boys do, they play football, basketball, run track. And
mm,
that's what I was trying to do with
mm,
the academic rigors of really learning how to figure out rocket science. Tell you what, people say, oh, it's not rocket science. No, I took rocket science. It's called thermodynamic engineering,
mm,
and it's learning how rockets work.
right.
So I had to figure that out. And I tell you what, I was trying to figure that out and play football at the same damn time. And it just wasn't happening. At one point, Slay Queen, my freshman year, I had a 1.87 GPA.
Ooh.
187, isn't that the code for murder? I thought I
Yeah,
was
it
gone.
is.
I thought it was a wrap.
Wow.
Yes, 1.87 GPA. I had to quit football. I was on academic probation, and just to go from that to having a doctorate in business administration, I look back and say, "Wow, how did I get here?" And then I got in trouble. I got into girl trouble,
Okay.
like some boys do, either in high school or college. You get into trouble. Somebody may not feel like you know. My issue was I was trying to play football, trying to make
Mhm.
good grades, and trying to date at the same time. Something had to give. Uh, but I tell you what, that particular girlfriend of mine wasn't having it. She didn't want to get broken up with, and yeah, it's in the book. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. You know what? I think every one of us has a story. And the more that we share it, the more transparent we could be. That we just even people don't get to a certain point without some things that happen in between. All right. And don't be scared to let folks know that that's what happened. And so during your transition, if you will, all right, from the military, like how we get to like where you at like right now to
Mhm.
like really attaching yourself to black veteran owned business owners, veterans, like what was your transition like from the military?
Mhm. So I was getting close to my retirement. I was a couple of years out. Something happened during a deployment as well as in garrison. During a deployment, I tried to get ahead of the game and be smart. And you know how we have these AEF buckets, and they're coming, and you're trying to see, okay, what's coming? Is it going to be uh, a deployment to Afghanistan or Kuwait or Germany? Oh, here comes one for Kuwait. Let me jump on that before I get voluntold to go to Afghanistan. Well, tell you what, it was the bait and switch.
Mm-hmm.
I deployed to Kuwait, and then they forward deployed me to Kandahar, Afghanistan.
uh
Mind you, and I talk about disparities in my presentations. I was the third black male to be forward deployed to Kandahar, Afghanistan. Now, it's not that many of us in this particular service and during this deployment. So when I rewind the tape, I say, oh, okay, all right. It's kind of like the stories I heard about Vietnam and how
mm-hmm.
we get put on the front line. So when I was over there, I was dealing with a rocky marriage and rocket attacks at the same damn time.
Mm.
So I was going through that. My son, he's great now. I mean, he really turned around and got the services and the therapy that he needed. So he's really just kind of broke out of his autism spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
He was more profound a bit earlier. So I was dealing with that. So I was deployed. I wasn't there for him. Going through a rocky marriage, dealing with rocket attacks at the same damn time. This one particular morning, there was a rocket that exploded not too far away. I run out to the bunker and tell you what, everyone on here, bunkers in Afghanistan aren't like the ones you see in the movies. The bunkers in Afghanistan are above ground. So I was like, okay, are there going to be more incoming rockets and missiles and things of that nature? I'm an early bird, so I was there by myself. And when I got there, I said, you know what? I don't know if I want to go and talk to military medical care about what
Mm-hmm.
I perceive as maybe some PTSD that's
Yep.
going on right now. So do I talk to my mom? Do I talk to my brother? Do I talk to? I said, I got to uplift my damn self.
Ooh.
So to answer your question, when I finished my doctorate in Afghanistan, and when I came back, I was still in this mode of learning, of developing. So I decided to become a life coach so
Yep.
that I can get the materials needed to coach other Black service members and veterans that may be going through the same thing that I'm going through. So once I retired, I really wanted to double down on how to coach and consult our people so that we don't just decide to check out, so that
Mm,
we don't pull chalks and say, you know what, I'm done, I'm gone. So that's why I'm laser focused on so I'm laser focused on the Black military community, but that involves service members, veterans, and their family members. And I feel like uh, that self leadership is
mm.
what's needed in our community.
Okay. All right. Now we hit the button again, y'all. Y'all know what self leadership gets pulled up in the conversation that, we about to really have a good conversation. So, first of all, y'all, thank you for being here. And if you are coming in, please stay for this conversation because this is going to be something that can help. If it's not going to help you, you probably know someone that needs this, all right, who needs to be encouraged and supported. And so Thelma asked a question from you, what kept you float during the times when you were in Kandahar? Because my husband also was in Kandahar and he
Mm,
didn't come back the same because
mm,
of the environment. So what kept you float during those
mhm,
times?
mhm. Prayer and self talk
Mm,
and 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 creating.
yeah,
So what uh faith without works, you know the rest of it. you
yeah.
know you have to work after you pray. You still have to put things into place. You still have to do something to get your mind around the the stress and anxiety that's messing up the way that you're showing up. So I created, like you, Slay, I got a an acronym, and that acronym is mess up. And these are the six types of stress that mess up the way that you show up.
Mm,
Mess up means mental, emotional, spiritual, social, universal, and physical stress. And I built this based on my doctoral research and my life coaching training. And I really kind of self coached and self led myself during those times while I was dealing with. At some point, you get into this groove where, you know what, if it's my time to go, it's my time to go. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I hear the incoming, I hear the outgoing, but do I jump out of bed in my pajamas to run to the bunker? You know what? If it's my time, it's my time.
mm,
So how do you coach yourself? How do you have positive self-talk during those times? So I built the framework that I'm now sharing with our people. I say we serve us, and
mhm.
that is what I'm building in order to do this, in order to do so.
Yeah, man, it's powerful. So Thelma already said, this is impactful. I've got Glenroy, who I was stationed with a few years ago when I was still in, y'all, and he's, got a question, just came across this live. Does his brother have any information or contact information, books, etc.? Yes, he
All
does.
the above.
So
All the above.
Glenroy, I've got, and if this is still legit, Dr. X, you've got www.uplifting or upliftnrg.com. Is that one of them? Or
I'm
is
going to
that
make it. I'm going to make it easy for everyone.
okay?
www.upliftyourdamnself.com.
Woof!
You won't soon forget that one, Glenroy.
No,
You won't
you
soon forget that
Glenroy.
one.
No. And he
No.
he is saying here, so Thelma answered. So thank you, Thelma, for putting that in there for him as
Mhm,
well. So
mhm.
you heard it for him, where you can find him. Again, www.upliftyourdamnself.com. And Perlissa, and thank you, Thelma, because Thelma put it into the comments because sometimes I can't post in the comments here. And then
Mhm.
Perlissa's here. Faith plus works equals fruitfulness slash success. And yes, 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 ma'am. It sure does. So you say that you are just so focused on, because when it comes from us to other folks that look like us, there's a different vibe or a different I guess a transformation, right? Because they can see themselves in you. They've been there, done that. You've been there and done that. And so, representation matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
it absolutely matters. So when you're talking about self leadership, right? What kind of things have you seen or heard from our community, your community, that makes you say that self leadership is not a part of their life? What
Mm-hmm.
what what do you hear? What
Mm-hmm.
are some of the comments that are being said?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that question. It all starts with the M in mess up. It The way it works out is that, yeah, there's mess up, and it starts with mental and it ends with physical. The M and then the P. What I'm hearing from our veterans are mental energy blocks. See, those are 6 energy blocks. The first one is mental. And I even unpeel that a bit further and I look at this acronym alibi. You remember, I don't know if you all watch these different shows like Law and Order, and you have someone says, well, where were you on November 11th, at 9 p.m. And the
Mm-hmm.
idea is, okay, what is your defense? Where were you?
Mm.
Well, when we're looking at mental energy blocks, my question is, where were you when you had that thought, when you had that outburst, when you were triggered? So, alibi is an acronym for assumptions, limiting beliefs,
Mm.
interpretations, bias, and inner critic.
Mm.
So what
Mm-hmm.
we're hearing from our veterans is one of those. That's where it starts. Either a false assumption, you thought you would be squared away when you got out of the military, but you're not. And either good or bad. You think that, oh, okay, well, I'm going to get out, I'm going to get a great job, and you have dozens and dozens of resumes and applications, and you don't have as much clout as you thought you had getting out, and
Mm-hmm.
you're trying to figure things out because you still got these bills. These bills are fixed, but your money coming in is variable at this time. You used to get paid on the first and 15th. Now you're
That's
just getting paid on the first. And this is if you're retired. And you may not, and that may not be coming in for a while after, right after you retire. So you have false assumptions. You have limiting beliefs. These are beliefs that limit you in some form or fashion. You may have the belief that you're going to be good to go. So you're not going to even put a good resume together because you didn't really have to have a great resume while you were in. But
mm-mm.
now, guess what? They have these application tracking systems in which you put an application in and no human being sees it unless it has some keywords. And you're wondering, wait a minute, I was a shoe in for that. I had all that job is asking for, and I'm not even getting a call back. I'm not even getting an interview. Why? Because your resume doesn't have these buzzwords and keywords, but you didn't know that because you had this false sense of security in the military, and you're retired as an O5 or O6, an E8 or an E9, and you just think that you got this clout, and you don't. So limiting beliefs. The I
Mm.
is interpretations. You're interpreting things uh, the wrong way, and you're not taking the perspective of someone on the other side of the table. So you have these interpretations, you have a bias uh, for the world, as well as there are biases against you. Newsflash. Yeah, you're a veteran, but guess what? Not everyone loves veterans. Okay?
Can you say that again?
Not everyone thanks you for your service.
Nope.
Okay, for whatever reason, you think it's patriotism and you're good to go, and then on top of that, you're black, you're a black veteran. Well, guess what? Not everyone thanks you for your service. And when you're out there and you're trying to have this post-military career, and you're wondering, why am I not getting callbacks? Why is everyone ghosting me or what have you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a bias
Yeah.
against you, and it may not always be racism. There's other isms. There's
Mm-hmm.
lookism. There's
You said, look
classism.
at
that is, I didn't realize that until a bit later in my career. But you ever look at someone, and we do it sometimes. You know what? That person doesn't look crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They look like they're mean. They
Look
look
like they
like
need.
they look
Yep,
like they're unapproachable.
that's
And
right.
sometimes, and guess, and for black men, you black veterans out there that are men, guess what? Uh, there are people out there that don't like the fact that you're wearing a mustache. Okay,
Mm.
they want clean shaven. You're less threatening if you don't have any facial hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to bring this to your attention. And I noticed this, not too long ago. When you're looking at CEOs and those that at the very top in the C-suite, many of these gentlemen, they don't wear facial hair. Just
Mm-hmm.
think about some of your presidents, CEOs, COOs. They for whatever reason they. So now you're trying to get out and try to be yourself and grow a beard, and but guess what? That can be a strike. And then that was bias, and then inner critic. That's that negative self-talk that says, you know what, why did I start Say to Success? Why did I start Uplift Financial Consulting? I should have stayed in a bit longer. I should have just took this government contracting job. I could have got a GS-15 job. I could be a SES right now. Or these things come into play when you're trying to really become an entrepreneur. So when and going back to your question, what are we hearing from our black veterans out there? One of those aspects: assumptions, limiting beliefs, interpretations, bias, inner critic. Once we look at those mental energy blocks, it goes into emotional blocks as well, and that's fear, that's love, anger, guilt, sadness, shame. So and again, that's in the workbook. That's my framework, and it's built around what we've been hearing from our veterans. And there you go, right there.
I'm
And that's
telling
that's, that's version one. And this, I updated it. Uplift Yourself workbook.
I
So
tell you, y'all, if you are not connected with Dr. X, especially if you are a black male veteran, I'm gonna need you to find him on Facebook and or LinkedIn. Okay, because the stuff that he's talking about is to help. All right. It's about self reflection, analyzing your energy level, making command decisions, doing a lot of, inner work, which some of us don't want to do because it's hard.
mm,
All right. And we don't want
mhm.
to go back and revisit some of the things that may potentially got us to a place where we're at right now, where we're kind of stuck and we don't move forward. And so, I've heard so many things from veterans, since I retired. And one of those things is I just can't move forward because this incident right here, that for whatever reason took them down to their knees, and now they can't move forward in retirement. And so all the things that you're speaking to is just so it's needed and it's necessary, right? So we've got a question here. So Glenn
Mhm.
Roy, he's like asking, are there any resources that our spouses can utilize to help them to understand and navigate our veterans PTSD?
That's a great question. I get that quite a bit. And I'm one that stays in my lane.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to be everything to everybody.
Right.
So when it comes to resources for PTSD and serious, clinical mental issues, then I refer them to my vetted partners, trusted partners that are in my network. So I would encourage you to reach out to me so that I can refer you to someone that looks like that spouse, and can really connect with them so that they can get the right answer, so that they can move forward. But great question, and that is again when I say, okay, boom, that's not my specialty. Let me
Yeah.
refer them to someone that I trust.
Yeah, and that's why we build the networking community the way that it is. And I tell you, when I went to your networking event, and I've been to a couple of them, there's always opportunities to connect with people who have the right resource that you or your friend, your family member, or somebody in your community that needs that. So
Hmm.
um very good. Like Glenroy, please make sure you reach out to Dr. X. And then Perlissa, of course, our sister, says you can talk yourself out of your purpose.
Oh yeah.
You know, and why? Because there have been a couple of times where I was like, "What am I doing? I don't even know what I'm doing with this slated to success." Right? Why is it that we talk ourselves out of things that we know we're
Mhm.
supposed to be doing?
Got it. So I mentioned before the 6 types of stress that mess up the way that we show up. So there's 3 things that we need to do as a people, as Black veterans. And again, any veteran can take this and build on it, but I'm focused on us.
Hmm.
Well, first you have to identify the energy block, and we just went through those 6 mess up. First, it's identify energy blocks. Then we have to analyze our energy level. That's A. And then the M is make a command decision. So it's I am. You remember back in the the civil rights time, the man wore, I am a man, I am somebody. There
Hmm.
was a song, I am somebody. Well, I am is an acronym for identify your energy blocks, analyze your energy levels, and make a command decision. So, to your question, why do we talk ourselves out of things? Well, that's where analyzing our energetic self perception comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's 7 levels. The acronym here takes you from victim to victory.
Mm-hmm.
So follow me here. So we have level 1 victim, level 2 instigator, level 3 cooperator, level 4 tender lover. Remember that song by Babyface, Tender Lover?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We all
Level
do.
5, level 5 opportunist, level 6 regulator, and level 7 your best self. Most of us resonate in levels 1 and 2, victim or instigator. When
Mm.
when you have this victim energy, you feel like you're in conflict. These are the people in your lives that are always complaining about people, places, and things. Every time you talk to them, they're complaining about their boss, their spouse, their kids, their parents. You don't even want to see their name come across your phone. You're like, no, I can't.
We ain't
Nope,
doing that today.
not today, not today. And so the victim, so the core thought in level 1, victim energy, is conflict. Then the core emotion is apathy. Apathy, fancy word. Hey, some of you all, these are going to be some words that I need you to put into your repertoire. But apathy is, you know what? It is what it is.
Hmm.
I don't even care no more. It is what it is. So you got apathy as the core emotion, and then as a result, there's a lethargy. Fancy word for I don't even feel like doing nothing. I don't even care no more because you feel like, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? Why did I get into the military? Why did I marry this person? Why did I have these kids? Why did I take this job? Why did I move to this area? So that's victim energy. And
Mm.
the next one that I'll just quickly share with you all, because there's 7, instigator. So you go from woe is me, my life sucks, to, you know what? You're the reason my life sucks. It's
Mm.
your fault.
Mm.
You know what? So now you go from 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 conflict,
Yep.
apathy and all that. Now you're angry. Now you're defiant. And so most of us, we bounce between levels 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And so we're talking ourselves out of things. We're either mad at ourselves or mad at somebody else. Uh, but at level 3, just real quick, at level 3, we start taking at least 1% responsibility for everything that's going on in our lives.
Mm.
Because sometimes we teach people how to treat us.
Yes. Yes.
Whether it's something that we say or don't say, something that we do or don't do. So at
Mm-hmm.
level 3, you start taking some responsibility. You start forgiving yourself. You
Mm-hmm.
know what? And this is tough to do. You have to step back and say, you know what? I forgive myself. They got me good. They tricked me. They were good. They got one over on me. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? I didn't know. I tried to look at the best in them. I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, they got me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start cooperating. You start cooperating with your better self and with
Mm.
other people. So those are just the first three energy levels out of the 7 that I coach on. But when you're in levels 1 and 2, that is where you start talking yourself out of things.
Mm-hmm. And so when we talk ourselves out of the things that we know we're supposed to be doing, I just only imagine, the spiraling downward effect
Mhm,
that it has, where folks are just now at the bottom. So if there's one piece of advice that you give if somebody is down in the lowest the valley of their life, potentially because of the transition, what would you offer as a word of encouragement, or what would you have them do like immediately?
I would say double down on your strengths instead of focusing so much on your weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you say, okay, I got these weaknesses over here, let me focus on them, you may end up with some strong weaknesses. Whereas if you have some strengths over here, double down on those and
Mm-hmm.
get some easy wins that way. What are you good at? What can you be one of one? In the military, we have stratifications, right? So
Yep.
you're 1 out of 25 senior NCOs. You're, you know, 1 out of 300 field grade officers.
Yep.
Well, where can you be one of one? In what aspect? See, me, I feel like I'm one of one in self leadership for Black service members, veterans, and family members in this DMV area. No
Yeah.
one is doing it quite like I am. No one is
No.
having social enrichment programs on the first Friday of every month focusing on Black military communities. So I
Mhm.
feel like I'm one of one.
Right.
So for those that are down deep in isolation and depression and loneliness and trying to figure out, what do I do next? Think about your strengths, double down on those and figure out, okay, what can I contribute to my community, to my society? Where can I be one of one? And then so one of my sayings is inspire, empower, and uplift.
Yep.
But how do you inspire yourself?
Yeah.
So find something that will allow you to inspire yourself, and then you'll get out of that rut, and you'll look back on it and say, you know what, I'm glad that I kept going.
That's right. I think that, again, this conversation that we're having. So thank you all for being here and being part of this live conversation. For those that come back for the replay, make sure you put in your comments to this as well. But this is really what we're talking about. Three things, really. We're talking about leadership, we're talking about wellness, and we're talking about mindset. These
Mhm,
are the three things I'm really set on of making sure that we delve deep into so that we can show up in our best versions of ourselves. Okay.
mhm,
And so we talked, a little bit about leadership. So let's really talk about wellness. Okay.
mhm,
Because I think too that there's so many dimensions of wellness, right? There's so many things that we can tap into to improve ourselves. So, what are your thoughts on wellness, like in general?
In general, wellness is a counterbalance. Okay, we have to look at wellness holistically. So what
Hmm.
do I mean by holistically? You can be physically well but not mentally well.
Oof.
You can be,
Yes.
and it goes back to those 6, remember the 6 types of stress that mess up the way that we show up? Well, those
Hmm.
are the same dimensions of wellness:
Yep.
mental wellness, emotional wellness, spiritual, social wellness, universal wellness, physical wellness. And what I mean by universal, that is something that you all may be wondering, okay, what is universal? That is how is your universe set up. So what I mean by set?
Mm.
your space, your environment, and your time. So your
Yes.
space, your physical space, your, as you can see here, I took some time to make sure that my office is good to go, squared away. Even out in front of me, I have different things going on. So your space at home, at work, your vehicle, those things. When you have a cluttered space, you have a cluttered mind.
Mm-hmm.
Your environment, what type of environment are you in at work and at home? Is it stressful? Is it loud? And then time. You have to figure out the difference between time management and decision management.
Mm.
Okay. And because you have 24 hours,
Yeah.
but you have these competing priorities. You have family, you have your job. The job has to pay you in order for you to take care of your family. But what are some things in which, okay, are boundaries that you have to put in place so that, you're not getting overwhelmed? So what you have to do is look at those different dimensions when it comes to wellness, and realize that there may be a counterbalance. Like, for example, the S in mess up. One of them is for social. So on first Fridays, I just let myself enjoy myself.
Right.
As you can tell, at
Yep.
the brunch and business card exchange,
Yep.
I'm gonna have a carafe of mimosa.
That's right.
That's I'm gonna have an island mimosa.
Right.
And but what happens is, so as I'm doing that, I'm just kind of relaxing. I'm having to, or I'm allowing myself to be more chill. I open up a bit more, and I'm more social, and I just feel like I'm just kind of building connections. And I have the morning event for brunch, and then I have the evening event, and I have two different crowds and two different, different energies coming from different people. So when it comes to social wellness, that may go up, but my physical wellness may go down a bit. Because guess what? Now
Mhm.
my energy balance is off.
Right.
Now I've drank a carafe of mimosa. I probably had some chicken wings. I probably had an old fashioned a bit later.
Yep.
So on that day, I'm probably going to, have more calories than I should have on that day.
Right.
But holistic wellness says to me, okay, that's okay.
That's okay.
That's okay. It's a counterbalance. But guess what? There's going to be times throughout the week in which you're going to eat your calories that you need. You're going to come up with a deficit, but you're going to probably be at home all day and may
Yep.
not socialize much at all.
At
So
all.
life is. You remember, they don't really have them nowadays, but uh, radios and speaker systems where you have the equalizer
Yep.
and you have the bass on the far left and you have the treble, and it's just counterbalancing, and
Yeah.
that's how life is. So if you can look at life as a holistic equalizer, if you will, knowing that some things are going to be tweaked along the way, then and then everything in moderation, you'll be squared away.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you 100%. I talk about the 8 dimensions of wellness and, harmonizing.
Mhm,
One is not going to be all the way, fulfilled. One
mhm,
may be all that you have that day, but it is just you're kind of looking into these different uh what do you call these different, I don't know, pools of wellness, and really
mhm,
understanding which one do you need, which one is your body, your mind, your soul telling you you need more of, and given what your body needs at that time, instead of allowing it to just, oh, I'll figure it out later. Oh, you know what I'm saying, and just putting that stuff on. So we've got some great comments in here. So Dwayne, from the LinkedIn professionals, he says sometimes we label ourselves or allow someone else to label us. We focus on how we were raised or treated, not on how we were made. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. And do we receive that? Right. And so that is a
mm,
question, rhetorical question. I love
mhm,
that. Do we
mhm.
receive that? Then Dr. Parker, he's in the building. We got to
Oh,
better learn how to define our own levels of self care and wellness as leaders.
love it, love it, love it.
We're attracting the right people to be a part of this conversation.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
that is definitely what we need to be doing because we're all leaders in our own right. All right.
And one thing about leadership is that, guess what? Everyone listening to this, everyone who's going to hear this a bit later, guess what? Uh, you're all leaders. That's not
Mhm,
the question. The
mhm.
question is, how well do you lead?
Mm, mhm.
You're all leaders. How well do you lead? How well do you lead yourself? That's self leadership. How well do you lead your family? How if you have if you're a boss, a leader, how well do you lead your team members? How well do you lead your church members? How well do you lead? And that is so very important because you're some of you all may think, oh well, I don't lead because I don't have any direct reports. I don't have I'm not the boss of anybody. Well, you got self leadership.
Yeah, you're the boss of yourself. You're supposed to
Boom.
be anyway.
Yeah.
That's what we talking about, taking charge of your life and,
Right.
making decisions for yourself. So yeah, you are a leader.
Yeah.
So, we just have to be mindful, right, as we are moving
Hmm.
forward. And so now you've got Uplift Financial Consulting, all right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Because part of the 8 dimensions of wellness that I speak to is financial wellness, all
Hmm.
right? Because there's some folks that don't even know what financial structures look like. They don't know anything about loans. They don't know what's about interest rates. They don't know about investments. They don't know any of that stuff, right?
Right.
So, why did you start working in this space and what do you do as far as
Hmm.
financial consulting?
Hmm. We started working in this space when we got feedback from our veterans that either they are not really sure what to do next, or they are not very financially savvy. So I'm working with, and there are so many nonprofits and for profits out there that are focusing on our veterans that may be homeless, that need housing, that may have mental issues. I'm focusing on perhaps the sometimes the walking dead, meaning we're
Mm,
walking, we look good, we smell good, we're
what?
retired, this and that. We're the walking dead. We're one false move from being scarred up.
Wow.
One
Okay.
false move, the walking. And again, we some of us are going through some marital issues. Some of us are having issues with our children. Many of us are in that sandwich generation. What I mean by that is not only are we trying to get our kids squared away,
Mm-hmm.
some of us have parents who have had a health event.
Yeah.
They used to be strong and powerful and used to be able to really provide us the coaching and the mentorship that we needed, and now we find ourselves doing that for them because they're getting older. They're not as fit as they used to be. So I'm focusing on those veterans that may have some things in place, but they're not sure what else they should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
uh, these are those, and there's a song by Adele that says, "I set fire to the rain."
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So check this out. So let's break that down. Set. That's my framework. Strategic, energetic transition. These are strategies to transition your energetic self-perception from catabolic to anabolic. So that's set. Fire is financial, insurance, retirement, and estate planning. So
Mm.
we want to set fire to the rain because we feel like, woe is me again, victim energy levels 1 and 2. So we're setting fire to the rain. And actually, next Saturday, we're having a financial resilience academy where other veterans, I'm teaming up with 2 other veterans that are going to help me set fire to the rain. We're going to talk about, and we're going to have breakout rooms for financial, insurance, retirement, and estate planning. And this is going to be education and awareness so that we can become more savvy and have some empowerment. So we're putting veterans at ease.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned I mentioned empowerment. I mentioned empowerment. I mentioned education, awareness, savvy. That's ease right there. Education, awareness, savvy, and empowerment. I got acronyms on top of acronyms.
Yes, he
So
does, y'all. So don't mess with Dr. X when it comes to these acronyms. I like, okay.
yeah, yeah. So it's based off of feedback. It was based off of what the veterans, my unique value proposition is to help those veterans that have similar lived experiences. So I wanted to be as genuine and as transparent as I can with those who who again, like me, you look good, smell good, you got a nice, maybe a nice place and things of that nature, but there are some things that you don't have in place, whether it's estate planning. How do you make sure that the things you love go to the people you love? And
Mm-hmm.
that changes over time. It
Yeah.
changes over time. The kids and the siblings and that the love. Sometimes people fall apart, and you're trying to figure out, okay, who gets what, and so that's estate. And then again, it's more about education and awareness. It's an hour and a half. No one person is going to talk more than 15 minutes at a time. Uh, so
Because you know
so
how we
it's I know how we get. So it's me. It's I don't know if you all know Lou Baker. He's a West Point grad, Army veteran, and then Eddie Peters. He's an Air Force veteran. So we're gonna just come together and provide this every second Saturday of the month.
okay. So y'all listening in and making sure that you get to some of his offerings and his services that he provides. But finances is one of those things that and for the black community, it could be a little sensitive, okay?
Mm.
Because
Mhm.
back, generations previous to us, where their life and the way that they were brought to this world were much different and didn't have the resources we particularly have today. And if this is just to get a better understanding of where you at financially and to change the trajectory of your family, because you could be the one to change the trajectory of the family's finances, the legacy, and all those things that we talk about generational wealth.
Mhm.
So if you are needing to hear more about financial services, please look up Dr. X. Okay, so first of all, Chevy's here. She said not The Walking Dead. All right, because she like, what are we talking about here, right? And then Latricia, thank you for coming in. She says this speaks volumes. So this is hitting the audience very well. So thanks, Latricia, for being here. And Dr. Parker, he's got a question. Any advice on how to approach estate planning with elder living family members that just don't want to talk about it?
Yes, yes. It's a dynamic. It's trying to crack that code. And one strategy is to have someone outside of the family talk to them, because
Mhm.
sometimes they don't want you, their family member, to know that they're falling a bit short on their planning. So it may be a bit embarrassing. And if they let you know, whether it's the, the son or the daughter or anyone in their family know, uh, they may be a bit reluctant to let you know. But if you were to reach out to someone like me or someone on my team, then now that's a third party, and they may be a bit more willing to share. Okay, you know what? I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I didn't. They would more likely reveal that to someone like me who they can trust with
Mhm.
integrity. I had to live under the honor code for how many years in the Air Force Academy, and then as an officer. So there's a lot of integrity on our team, more so than your typical uh, advisory firm and things of that nature. So I would encourage anyone on this call who has elder living family members who don't want to talk about it, uh, to join us on second Saturday, if they can. I know some of our older uh, family members aren't tech savvy, so we may need to set it up for them. Might need to set up our phone or laptop or iPad for them. But if they're old school and they want a phone call, they can reach out to me, and then I can get them in touch with either me or a team member in order to have that conversation. Because guess what? They're not going to reveal it to you, because guess what? They don't want you to know that perhaps they didn't save as much money as you thought they should have saved, and maybe their insurance policies isn't the way that you feel like they should have been set up, and they don't want you to be judging them as their family member, but some third party may be the way to go.
Yeah, that's some good advice. Somebody outside that don't know anything about what's going on, because as we know, the family dynamics is something interesting, especially when you have, and we talked about this at our get together there, like
Hmm.
there is some lot of things that go on behind the scenes, as we know, when a family member passes and there's no will, there's no instruction, there's no discussion, and there's a falling out, and people have it in their way, right, about what they are entitled to and what they're not entitled to. So all this makes perfect sense as to, going forward and doing better. All right. And that's by
Hmm.
educating yourself and more awareness. So Dr. X, okay, we talked about financial wellness, all right, and then so a little bit about mindset work, okay, because I know Kim, again, I was stationed with when we were in Japan. I got a lot of Japan folks in here, and she talked about, she said fear, and I think it came up in one of the things that we were speaking to earlier,
Hmm.
but mindset. So how, okay, do we shift a mindset? Because this is the things that I ask the clients that I'm working with, or I work with, about mindset from a high conforming environment where we are told what we're to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it, to now in this new phase, new chapter of anything's possible, right? But what shifts do we need to make, or what are some things or some strategies that we can use during our transition?
Hmm. A great question. And that leads me to the M in I am. Make a command decision.
Mm,
There's two types of command decisions. There's practical, the ones that I just talked about, like, getting your financial situation squared away. But then there's personal support decisions, and it spells uplifter. That's the acronym. So you have upward appeal, pressure, legitimizing actions, inspirational appeal, friendliness, teamwork, exchange, and reasoning. So this is based on my doctoral research. It's in the workbook, but these are the things that you have to look at to see. Okay, which one or more of these do I need to put in place for this particular situation in the moment? The idea is to have these things top of mind awareness. So upward appeal is okay. Do I need to pray about this? Do I need to get with someone who knows more about this than I do? So when you mention fear, okay, perhaps there's someone who's gone through this already
mm-hmm,
and can maybe allay my fears because they seem to have cracked the code. So upward appeal, asking someone with higher authority or more experience, pressure. Sometimes we need to put pressure on ourselves. Get something in place in which we put a little pressure on ourselves, whether it's a calendar, a to-do list, saying that we're going to, get into the gym on this particular time each day, and then legitimizing that is going to maybe the Bible, maybe the rules and regulations, guidelines. So that is going to find, the data and maybe something that you can find uh, to legitimize what you want to do. Inspirational appeal is okay. How do you, going back to inspire yourself? How do
mm-hmm,
you double down on those strengths to inspire yourself? Friendliness, be friendly to yourself. That's self care. That's go get a massage. Go get a manicure, pedicure. Go somehow take care of yourself, both mentally and physically, and in those other dimensions as well. Teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work. We do at some point have to build a team around us, and hopefully those team members are friends and not foes. Sometimes we can have people close to us That can be, you can be rowing your boat and they in the back drilling holes in the damn boat. You look back and they're like, what? I or they rowing in the different direction. You
Right.
constantly have to look back and you're like, why? Why is this? And some of them have your same last name and your address.
That's right.
So you have to have the right team. Exchange now. You want to exchange ideas and you want to reciprocate and build some type of referral. That you can refer to each other, and then reasoning. How do you get data and facts? Again, that's uplifter. That's personal support decisions. That's under make a command decision, and that is how you can kind of crack the code on these emotions that you may have. And one way to remember the different emotions that you have is flags.
Mm-hmm.
You have different flags. Green flag, good. You got
Right.
checkered flag, I'm winning. But then black flag, what in the military, black flag it means hot as hell. Black
Yeah.
flag,
Yeah.
but also
Same
where I'm
side.
from, also black flag can be roaches. You got black
Oh no.
flag roaches.
See, you come from a different part. I'm not trying to deal with nobody's roaches.
But my point is flags is fear, love, anger. Then there's guilt. Then there's shame as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So because that is important. Um, I have seen some folks again not able to make the shift. There is something holding them there, stuck in that moment. The generation, so our generation has kind of moved forward in like entrepreneurship, doing something different out of the box. The one that was before us, there is a little bit of resentment and there's a lot of
Mhm.
anger because of the opportunities they didn't have like we have right now, like the resources that we had. Like when I retired, there were so many resources, it was overwhelming. And
Mhm.
when my dad retired, there was little to none.
Right.
So there are some folks who feel in a certain way about their military career experience. It leads them into the retirement. So when you
Yeah.
talk about all these motions and so forth and so on, I understand and I have seen it firsthand of
Yeah.
what that can do to an individual. So, um, back to finances. So I've got baby Bubba. He's on the YouTube side.
Uh-huh.
And he's saying that's cool. He's cool about it, right? But finance needs to be taught, and also the availability to take these classes to low income people, especially for the youth, along with learning a trade.
Yes. Absolutely.
This right here is exactly, some of my efforts to go back to the schools, to go back to the community within a 5 mile radius of where I'm at, and really provide some education and awareness. All right. So if you have baby Bubba, I know you're out there on the YouTube side, but reach out to either one of us.
Mhm.
Maybe we can get you some resources wherever you're at or point you into the right direction. If you're in the DMV area, like we got you all day. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah. So this is really good conversation. Like you gave us a whole lot of information and some just good just wise sage counsel on how to lead yourself, okay, how to build up your wellness and how and then especially finances, as well as the mindset. Oh, baby Bubba is from Harlem. All right, Harlem, because my,
Okay.
my husband, he's from Harlem too. All right, so
Oh.
we know. Okay, so if thank you for joining us. Okay, and definitely reach out and let us know, and I can put some resources on the YouTube side after we get done with the episode.
Mhm.
Okay, so Dr. Parker's got a comment here. I think we got to learn to better compartmentalize for future growth mindset success. Work hard to prevent spillage by identifying those flags, Dr. X stated.
Mhm. Yeah, and thanks, Doc. It's so important to have top of mind awareness of different things. And when he mentions compartmentalize, that's what I do. And it just kind of puts things in order,
Mm-hmm.
because you can read all these books
Right.
and have all these different development systems that you've invested in, but if you can't have it top of mind and respond versus react in the moment, you may you may have some irreparable damage caused because you couldn't recall any of what you read. So so that's why in the workbook you'll see things in acronyms and I am, identify, analyze, make, uplifter, victim to victory, those types of things. We really have to figure out the best way to put these things up top at top of mind. And I've done that. Dr. Marvin Parker, he does a great job at doing that as well. So hopefully you all on this call will reach out.
Yeah. So, I know we've been a little bit over an hour, some really good conversation. So before we slip up out of here and get on our for our night, um, what would you want to leave for our audience? What are your last, words of encouragement or things that you want to share?
Yeah. I'm going to go back to those three words: inspire, empower, uplift. Sometimes we want to inspire others and we get frustrated when they're not inspired. Well, how about you inspire your damn self? What are some things that you can double down on? You good at some things. Be one of one. You remember stratification when you're in the military? How about you become one of one? And what does that look like? In power. No, I didn't mispronounce it. It's not empower, em. No, I'm talking about in power. How do you give
Mm,
yourself the power to move forward and to just really keep that needle moving? And then uplift. First, uplift yourself, and then once you have uplifted yourself, now you can lift as you climb. So it's not all about uplifting yourself and now I'm here and I'm good to go, I'm squared away. Now it's time to uplift others. But first, you have to do that on your own. Again, inspire, empower, uplift your damn self. Over.
over. And you all heard it here, y'all. So give just a clap of appreciation for Dr. X for just laying this out to us and really giving us some perspective and insight. I thank you for the work that you are doing because it's absolutely necessary, especially in the DMV. Thank you for coming to the show and saying yes to the show. Wait, okay, Dr. Parker's got Can I get 1 week extension on the homework assignment from yesterday? Just that I asked. Have a great night. He, he just want to be in your good graces. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Hey, thanks, Doc. Of course.
So,
Approved.
right. And then, of course, Melissa said, told you this would be good.
Yeah. Thanks
And
for listening.
then Charlene, she's from Mosaic Inc., the nation that I wake up to every weekday, Monday through Friday. She said, this
Awesome.
conversation is full circle of my weekend.
Fantastic.
And Glenn Roy sent that LinkedIn connection request. So
Okay.
when
Okay.
you see it in your inbox,
Accept
connecting
it.
to him and take care of him because he is a great man. All right. So
Fantastic.
and he said great live, lots of great information. So
Great.
for all of you who are still here, making sure that we scan this code, okay, because that's all the Slay to Success happenings. We will be back here, y'all, next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard time, same place, with another great guest on our show to give us information. This is all in the realm of leadership, wellness, and mindness to show up in the best versions of ourselves. So, as I say, as to all of them, thank you all for being here live. I really appreciate you all for being here and keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. Love y'all. Have a great evening. Bye bye.